Hey guys, welcome back to Marriages Restored in Faith. My name is Ray.
Hi guys, my name is Dora. It is Friday, March 14th, 2025, and it is horrible outside.
Yeah, if you just look anywhere on YouTube, on the news, and you'll see what is happening in Texas. That wind is awful. There are accidents, pileups, fires. In Lubbock area, we just heard that it was 70 plus mile an hour winds. 73 up is a F1 tornado.
Yeah.
We're getting some strong, nasty wind.
We've always had winds here in West Texas. Always have, but not like this.
Yeah.
We've
never had this before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is beyond, yeah, it's pretty bad.
So just go back and you'll see weather modifications, and you'll see, come on, let's be real. There's snow in the north. There's tornadoes on the northeast, from the east all the way up north. Mm-hmm. There's strong winds here in Texas. So it's like you have weapon warfare.
Yeah. California is snowing.
California is snowing and tornadoes.
Yeah, and tornadoes at the same time.
Yeah. So just think about that. It's weather warfare, biological warfare as well. So it's just one of those things that we have to really pay attention and wake up. I read a post that said they're killing chickens in the United States. And in Mexico, just across the border, they're not killing chickens. I didn't even know that they had a Costco, but somebody mentioned that there's a Costco in Mexico. And they said there's plenty of eggs, and the eggs cost is not like it is in the United States.
Yes.
So then it said they're killing chickens in the United States, but not in other countries. Are you awake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen also a YouTube video where, she's from the States, but she's visiting somewhere in Mexico, and she put out a video saying, "Hey guys, look." And there's massive eggs. Eggs in that little market that she's in. She's like, I've yet to hear anybody say about their egg prices and that the eggs are in shortage. But once I get back home, I'm going to start hearing that.
Well, look up the bill in Pennsylvania that they just passed. They're going to start killing chickens in Pennsylvania. That they're going to be going around testing all the farmers, even homes. If you have backyard chickens, and if one of those tests positive for their, call, then they have to kill all of them. Go figure. Mm-hmm. They passed that bill. Go look it up. There's a bigger agenda. I wish people would really see that and understand that. I really wish that the church will wake up and pastors will preach this from the pulpit.
Yes.
So let's get started. Let me show you this one. If you can give me number 28. Now, this is one of those things that when I was patrolling as a patrol officer, this was one of that I always paid attention that this could happen. And in fact, I would park my car a long distance and walk up to the scene, especially whenever it happened on the interstate. And you would hear cars getting in crashes right behind your vehicle that they were doing. It never failed. So then you would have to call for backup. I want you to look at this. This is one of those. Oh, we're not going to have no sound to it.
Oh, okay.
They probably put music to it or something. So,
yeah, and it's just.
Look at that. He ducked both of them.
Both.
Yep. One in front and one behind. Look at that. As he went, he moved, and he said, nope, I'm jumping over. And it goes to show you that these people didn't even slow down, seeing that there's lights right there.
Yeah.
Neither one slowed down. Both of them in high speed. This is, again, you see it. It's in the highway. But you see this, you're going to start slowing down. You're not going to be flying like they are. They could have killed them. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me show you And you can give me number 17. And this is something that if I wish people would see this. And the sad part is there's actually pastors that are okay with this right now. I was just listening to a video, and I was going to share it with Dora and let Dora see it, that these are some of the smart pastors that I've listened to for some years already. But they're okay, and I guess it went by them by Trump mentioning that he's okay by getting digital coins and getting digital currency, doing all that, and trying to get it for United States. Well, that is part of the plan is to start that, and then before you know it, get rid of cash and get rid of gold and silver and go into digital currency. What is that? What is digital currency going to do? Let me show you. Go ahead.
CBDCs are the programmability, which is that essentially it's not even money. It's like your money becomes potential money because it depends on a central planner to agree that you should now be allowed to spend this money in this location for this particular transaction and in this particular volume that you want to do. Well, why should that be conditional? But it is going to be when they describe programmability. That's what it's all about. That you can, I mean, of course, they present it from a positive side. We can give money to the people who really need it. That's how they will formulate it. But the other side of the coin is that this means that they have their ideas on who should spend money on what and when. And that will be reflected. And sometimes when you want to spend, they'll decide this is no good because you've already used too much carbon. Your carbon footprint is too big, or you've eaten too much beef, or whatever it may be. So we are talking about essentially some kind of social credit scoring or other similar system, and really it's not your money anymore. The push for CBDCs is the final step in a multi-decade program by central planners to increase their power over the people, over countries. This is the ultimate step because the powers of CBDCs are so extraordinary that, I mean, even the worst dictators in past centuries could only have dreamt of having such enormous power over the lives of so many people. We are talking about a very dystopian future if we allow central banks to issue central bank digital currencies. And it will be a completely totalitarian system of such frightening proportions, it's hard to imagine. The really big dangers of CBDCs are the programmability, which is that essentially it's not even money. It's like...
So just think about that. In EU, I believe they mentioned that they're going to have it by October of this year in full effect, the digital currency. Just think about that. Okay, let's just say the power went out. You're not going to be able to purchase anything. You're not going to be able to conduct any type of business because now you can't get your digital currency.
Right.
Let's just say your employer gets upset and tells on you because they're going to have access to tell on people, because if you remember what happened in 2020, they said, tell on your neighbors if they're not putting the mask on. Tell your neighbors if they're not doing this and doing that. What if your employer gets upset with you and says, hey, he posted this on social media, or he's talking about Jesus and he's trying to warn people and tell people, look, this is what's happening. And then they shut off your bank. They push that button and say, well, you can't do any digital currency, or we're taking it away. We're punishing you.
Right. Freeze. Freeze your account.
Or guess what? You can't pump any gas today because we don't want you to go out of town. We don't want you visiting family. In fact, there's another new air virus that you can't detect, but we can detect it. Don't worry about it. We know what's best for you. So we're going to shut off the system so you can't go anywhere. You have to stay indoors. I'm telling you, it's total control where you can't even do a transaction. You can't have a garage sale. Yeah. You can't sell anything online. You can't do anything without them knowing. The sad part is so many people right now, they use all kinds of apps. They don't do any cash transactions any longer. In fact, didn't you say you went to the post office and they didn't even have change?
Yes, went to the post office and it was, so much, maybe like $10, $11, something like that. So I gave them a 10 and a 5 because I didn't have ones. And they were like, well, he was like, do you have a 1? Do you have a dollar bill? Because all I have is coins. In other words, he couldn't give me dollar bill, change back. I was like, sure. Okay.
Because most retailers now don't even have cash in their cash register, or at least not enough to break 100.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're used to everybody using their credit card or debit card.
Yes.
Let's keep going. Let me share number 19, or give me 19. And let me show you this one. Again, it is all about control. It has nothing to do about taking care of the planet, because if it was, they won't be flying in their jets. Has nothing to do for your best interest. Has nothing to do with, we need to watch the cartels because there's money being funneled around here. No, it's nothing to do with that. Let me go and let you hear it from this guy. Go ahead.
Trial that sets a daily allowance for each person, a literal cap on your ability to travel, purchase food, clothing, and even heat your home, all rationed under the guise of saving the planet. Your daily carbon limit is capped at 40 kilograms of CO2, with food restricted to just 4 kilograms. So how does this translate to actual food? Well, according to the report, a packet of cheese accounts for 1.1 kilograms of CO2, over 25% of your daily allowance. Red meat? Forget it. If you spent your entire 4 kg allowance on steak, you'd get around 8 ounces of meat. While meat and dairy products have the highest carbon footprints, 2 slices of bread would account for just 3%, while a can of Coke just 4%. So basically, diabetes is on the menu. But don't worry, Big Pharma will have you covered because medications and healthcare products will not be factored into your daily carbon limit. But here's where things get terrifying. They're not just suggesting it, they're testing it. Food manufacturers are already slapping carbon labels on their products. And let's not forget the food supply chain either. These policies directly threaten local farmers and producers as red meat gets penalized heavily, while synthetic lab-grown meat is being propped up as a solution. The fashion industry contributes approximately 10% of global carbon emissions, with much of the impact coming from production and transportation, which is now your problem. A single cotton t-shirt will cost you 2.1 kilograms of CO2. Synthetics will cost you much more, and if you like leather, just buy it now. But you can save those carbon credits by purchasing used clothes. So how about travel? The average person burns through 2.3 kg per day going about their daily lives. However, if you ever see yourself going on vacation again, you're going to want to start biking or walking to work because a typical round trip via airplane from London to New York emits approximately 1,600 kilograms of CO2 per person, equating to 80 days of your total carbon allowance under the PCA guidelines. Heating accounts for a significant share of household emissions, especially in colder climates, with the average household burning through 6 kg of CO2 per day. The recommended solution? Be cold, or fork over a bunch of money to install renewable energy sources in your home. There's also an allowance for leisure and entertainment. Streaming services, gaming, or internet usage at home or on your phone relies on data centers powered by electricity. So that will cost you. Going to a concert or a ball game? Well, that involves travel, lighting, and heating or cooling. Boom, pay the toll. You like gardening, DIY projects, or recreational sports? Those all involve resource consumption, and there's no free lunch in the credit carbon world. Now, you might be thinking, surely this is just a trial. Wrong. This isn't just being tested, it's being planned. In the UK white paper, they openly admit that their goal is to encourage behavior towards implementing this system. They're normalizing the idea that your lifestyle is subject to bureaucratic quotas handed down by governments that live in luxury while telling you to eat less meat. Surprisingly, here's where it gets dystopian. The system isn't about reducing emissions where it matters. The report itself acknowledges that 70% of carbon emissions come from sectors beyond individual control, including industry, exports, and military operations. But instead of tackling those, they're coming after you. You see, this isn't about reducing carbon. It's about reducing you, restricting how far you can travel, what you can eat, and ultimately how much freedom you can enjoy. And once this system is linked to digital IDs and centralized banking, the consequences of exceeding your carbon limits are severe. Overspend on travel or food this month, you can be locked out of making non-essential purchases. And if you think that's far-fetched, China's social credit system operates on the same principles: track, regulate, and punish. And this trial isn't happening in a vacuum. Similar proposals are being floated globally. The EU's Fit for 55 program is pushing personal carbon tracking. The World Economic Forum published reports in 2022 advocating for individual carbon quotas tied to digital IDs. Even the Canadian Climate Accountability Act includes language that promotes integrating personalized carbon targets. As for the typical political hypocrisy, the same elites pushing this nonsense aren't giving up their private jets or lavish lifestyles. In 2022 alone, 1,040 private jets landed in Davos for the WEF summit, just so billionaires could lecture the rest of us about cutting emissions and personal carbon tracking. So here's the truth. Personal carbon allowances won't stop climate change. They will, however, stop you from living freely. They'll hollow out the middle class, decimate local agriculture, and concentrate power in the hands of the global elite. They're testing this in the UK, but trust me, it's headed here too. And many of us know that this is the cornerstone of left-wing politics. Whether we're talking carbon tax, green slush funds, mandating electric vehicles, or net zero, it is their hill to die on. And as far as I can see, it has very little to do with the climate and everything to do with control. The UK recently completed a carbon credit system.
There you go. I know people still don't believe that this is going to be implemented, and it will be. How do you think the B system comes in play?
Yeah, that's right.
This is part of the B system that is being built. It's going to come in play. My question to you is, what are you going to do about it? Some people may say, well, what can I do about it? Start gardening. Learn how to raise your own animals, chickens. And yes, I just said that in Pennsylvania, they're going to start killing off all the chickens. Yes, I get that. But it doesn't stop you from wanting to do your best to prepare for your family the best that you can.
Yeah.
If somebody said, you know what, we're taking away all cars, we're taking away all cash, we're taking away all food, would you just go ahead and just give it all up to them and say, here you go? Or are you going to continue to keep it as long as you can and stock up, learn how to do a different trade? That's one of the biggest things that I try to tell people right now at this time, as things get more expensive because tariffs are going up. Everything's going to go up. You're seeing it. In fact, if you can give me number 16, tariffs have went up again. So auto parts are going to get more expensive. Supplies are going to get more expensive. Medical is going to get more expensive. Food, shelter, your utilities, everything's going to go up because businesses have to stay open, or at least try to stay open.
Yes, they're fighting for that. The demand and the supply.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're fighting for.
Go ahead.
New tariffs on metal imports went into effect at midnight. Thanks for joining us here on the National News Desk. I'm Jan Jeffcoat. It's Wednesday, March 12th, and the president is standing by his America First agenda aimed at bringing production back to the U.S. and leveling out the economy in the long run.
Biden gave us a horrible economy. He gave us horrible inflation. And I think the market was going to go very, very bad. If anything, I have a lot of very smart people, friends of mine and great businessmen. They're now investing because of what I'm doing. Because long term, what I'm doing is making our country strong again.
Mark Boyle joining us from the live desk with more on this. Mark, good morning to you. We're already seeing some countries backing down.
And we could see more. This fallout could continue, Jan. A lot of moving pieces here, and the latest on the trade tensions this morning. At midnight, that 25% tariff went into effect on steel and aluminum products, which was countered just hours later by the European Union announcing a return tariffs of $28 billion on U.S. goods. Meanwhile, Canada avoided the 50% hike that President Trump had threatened after Canada walked back a 25% surcharge on electricity imports to Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. The concession was made by Ontario's Premier Doug Ford just hours after the massive 50% U.S. increase was announced. Meanwhile, there are concerns here that Trump's tariffs could aggravate or make more of an issue for the inflation situation. But brand new imports and reports rather this morning shows quite the opposite, and that inflation is down. The consumer price index for February less than expected at 2.8%. We've been waiting for these numbers, keeping that steady decrease in the inflation rate. Core CPI is also below what economists had predicted. And here's a look at the current tariffs.
So again, they put tariffs. Everything's going to get more expensive. Now, it doesn't mean we go in panic mode and try to purchase everything we can. No, what we need to do is purchase what we are going to use.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So in other words, we want to go purchase some canned food that we're not going to eat.
Right.
We'll go purchase extra canned food that we do eat, or extra supplies that we will need down the line For instance, I do mechanic work, so I would purchase a little extra other parts that I know that I will use down the line. So let's keep going. Let me try to hurry this up and get you out of here. If you can give me number 22. And this is one of those things that you have to pay attention what your kids are doing. And for some reason, this has become so popular. This is one of many videos out there. In fact, one of them said that a person showed up and said that they were their friends. She hung out with this person. They gave her a pill. She ended up swallowing the pill. She ended up dying. It was fentanyl. And she was 12 years old. So let me play this one here.
Road 312. Send the address on Roblox.
So which one of y'all name is Road 312 on Roblox? Why are you sending this grown man our address? He your friend. How old are you?
38.
38?
Yeah.
Do you know how old she is?
No, I know that's Road 312.
This little girl is only 12 years old.
I just came to play.
You think you're gonna come in my house and play with my 12-year-old?
No, bro. Said we can do Minecraft and stuff.
You're not doing that here. You're not doing that here. I will call the police on you. Don't play with me. The next time. What? Girl, you better stop playing with me. Go, bye. Go call your dad. Go call your dad. Bye.
Parents, you have to know what your children are on at all times.
See that? A grown man shows up to play Minecraft with that girl. You can't tell me these people don't know how old the other person is on the other end. Communication. Communication says a lot back and forth. Apparently they've been talking. You can tell how old the other person is when they're talking to you. You can tell it's a 12-year-old. Just the language. I'm telling you. And this is not, like I said, this is not the only one. There are many out there. And some of them are these sex offenders that are actually doing that, and they've been busted. They've been caught doing it. And they admitted that they were going there to meet a 12 or 14-year-old girl. Let me share another one. If you can give me number 23. And again, this is another one that right now that we are seeing. It's getting crazy out there because people are getting frustrated.
Yes.
Either because they're spending more or they don't have the money to spend. Either they lost a job. There's many things that are going on that are getting people so frustrated. And this is just going on. Oh, there's no sound. We usually don't play no sound on here because either they have music or something. But just look what happens here. And this isn't, as you can see, in Oklahoma on I-35. And as I've told my daughter now that she's driving, you see this, you just slow down, you get away from this person, and you get as far away as you can from them. You don't stop, and you don't pull over because you don't know what this person is going to do. But as you see how crazy this person gets here in a second and literally rams this car, and they get in an accident. This is aggravated assault all day long. Look at that. With a deadly weapon. And look at that. It's just, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They did all that for road rage.
Road rage.
Maybe this person cut them off, sped up. Maybe they didn't get out of the way.
Or maybe they were just, driving speed limit and the other person was like not having it. I mean, who knows? That's why, it's like, okay, you have to make sure, like Ray was saying, get away from this person. And if it's still following you, then dial 911.
I mean, we all know that person or those people that are on the left lane on the passing lane, that they should be passing somebody, but they're actually driving on the left lane, traveling on there, and they shouldn't be driving on there. They should just be passing somebody, get back to the right lane. We've all met those. And you're right behind them. Wondering, you need to hurry up and get out of the way so I can get moving. And then you get to the right and you're looking, and they're on their phone,
right,
or they're doing something else. So we've seen that, but it doesn't cause for them to act like this and do this. That's crazy. So we'll go ahead and get you another one. This will be the, I guess Joe's back and forth trying to get
Our
phones,
phones are
because our phones are going off. I mean, give me number 27, and we'll stop on this one here. Give me number 27. And this is a perfect example of people today being on their phones. I mean, literally just walking around and being on their phones. And good thing this was a good outcome, even though it was, or it ended. It ended well.
And again, no sound.
Yeah, because a lot of times they put music on these things. So, as you can see, this woman is walking, looking at her phone, carrying her baby, and there she goes.
She slips.
But look, she's still hanging onto her phone as she goes down. She doesn't let go of the phone. And she just falls, and of course, people start coming to her rescue. You'll figure that she would have let go of the phone, right? Good thing she didn't let go of the baby, but... And they start going in there and start digging her out. Her and the baby.
Wow.
Again, another thing. People are so distracted today that they can't do anything without their phone. They can't have dinner, lunch without their phone. We see it a lot when we go out to eat. That we see people just... Well, actually, we rarely go out to eat, but whenever we do... But good outcome. They were all... It ended well because the baby survived. She survived. She's walking around, running to her baby. So...
She's like, oh my gosh.
Yep. There you go. So, guys, this CBDC is going to be pushed. It is going to be implemented.
Yes.
We just need to prepare it as best as we can. Get out of debt as fast as you can. And prepare. Pray. And get ready.
Yes, that's right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Want to remind you to put on your armor. You can find that in Ephesians 6:10 through 18. Very important to know and to understand how to do that. And there is our other platforms that you can follow us, share our content as well. There is our email if you would like to get a hold of us. We thank you again for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on the next video.